So, ladies and gentlemen, we had Star Wars Celebration recently. Lots was announced, actually, at Star Wars Celebration. There was some trailers as well shown, which have now since... I don't know if they've leaked online. Well, I know some of them have leaked online. But I don't think they've been officially released. So there was The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's leaked online. You can find that. But there's obviously been a lot announced, right? There was a Darth Maul cartoon series that was sort of, going on as well. And... yeah, a whole manner of little bits and pieces. But there was a film which was absent. There was a film that was really absent from all of this. I mean, it's in the title, really. I was going to say, can you guess what it is? But it's in the title. REY movie. The REY movie was really absent from any announcement at all. Which is interesting because at Star Wars Celebration, it was confirmed who was writing Taika Waititi's movie. That came out. At Star Wars Celebration. So that movie seemingly, it looks like a high percentage chance of that happening over the REY film. It's weird that there would be no updates whatsoever for this film. So I thought we'd just take a look, and yeah, she confirms it's still happening, but there was no updates, right? There was no news at all. But Kathleen Kennedy, she, the cat's mother, is banging on about it. Still happening. It's still happening. Okay, then. So, I thought we'd just take a look. Great article here. And I'll leave a link down below. But yeah, just thought we'd take a look, basically. A dance through the travesty that is the REY movie. And I think it's, again, perhaps sort of poetic almost, is that it's basically been 2 years. It even says, 2 years ago. At Star Wars Celebration 2023... Lucasfilm pulled out all the stops to surprise fans with the return of Daisy Ridley. The announcement was meant to be monumental. A brand new Star Wars movie starring REY set 15 years after the rise of Skywalker. 2 years ago. And this goes back to a wider conversation that I like to have whenever these things come up again. Is the way films are announced today is completely backwards. They announce a film before they've even got a script. And they even give you a release date before they've even got a script. This one had a release date. It's changed now, obviously. But it did have a release date. Why don't you get the script done, right? Start shooting it. Then give a release date. But I think part and parcel of why they give a release date so soon is they try and work to the wire. So they will film it, and they'll edit this thing right up until the wire, because it's just a digital copy that goes out these days. But it's crazy to me. It's such a backwards way of doing things, and it does go to show just how bad Kathleen Kennedy especially is in all of this. She's a joke. She's an absolute joke. And there's so many things that have been announced by her, so many things that just has not happened at all. But anyway, let's take a look a little bit further, right? So they also announced that activist documentary director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy would helm the film. It was billed as a bold new chapter for the franchise, promising to rebuild the Jedi Order and reposition REY as the next generation leader of the galaxy. But fast forward to 2025 Star Wars Celebration in Japan, and the only thing Lucasfilm delivered was awkward silence. Yeah, so no new footage, no teaser, no official title, though it's sort of been touted online as New Jedi Order. We don't actually know if that is the case. But what was supposed to be the triumphant next era for Star Wars was has instead become an emblem of the franchise's ongoing dysfunction. There was also another film which was just not around. James Mangold, do you remember? He was supposed to be doing a film, wasn't he? There was no update on that, as far as I recall. I didn't watch the entirety of Star Wars Celebration, but there was no update on his film. Odd, isn't it? Well, in the case of James Mangold, not that odd, actually, because obviously the Indiana Jones movie bombed, and Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, whatever, has probably gone, back off away from him now, even though they were to blame for Indiana Jones failing, but never mind. So, when the REY film was first announced at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago, the messaging was clear. This was the future. Disney and Lucasfilm made a grand show of it. Daisy Ridley was brought out as a surprise guest, met with fanfare and press blitzes. The studio made a public commitment to rebuilding not just the Jedi, but the brand itself. And now, 2 years later, We have quote-unquote confirmation that the movie still exists, but that's about it. Kathleen Kennedy took to the stage at Celebration and reassured attendees that the REY movie's still happening. She keeps banging on about the Rian Johnson movies, the trilogy still happening as well. I mean, we're years down the line. What is going on? Now it says this, that's cinematic equivalent of spinning wheels, which is very, very, very true. That's the studio speak. It was a placeholder update, no footage, no concept art, no casting updates, no timeline, nothing of substance. It's literally just a hand wave away to be like, no, it's still happening. And that's it, done. Don't question anymore. Shush. That's all that is. Which is complete nonsense. What an absolute joke. Absolute joke. And it's interesting. So the REY movie has had multiple screenwriters. Damon Lindelof was the guy who actually pitched the film. Damon Lindelof pitched the movie. And Kathleen Kennedy was like, yeah, bang on, we'll have that. And then obviously studio Lucasfilm was like, no, we're going to change this again. Even though you pitched it and we liked that movie, but we're going to change stuff. Okay, cool. And then they just took it off his hands, basically. And they brought on Stephen Knight. And now George Nolfi, another person. Every time a new writer comes on board, the project restarts, which is just bizarre, but okay. So that alone should tell fans everything they need to know. If this were truly a priority for Lucasfilm, it would be further along by now. And also, remember, you wouldn't have announced it. It annoys me so much that all these films are announced before there's even a script locked in. Like, what are you doing? You're a clown show. So instead, we're watching the same pattern that derailed previous Star Wars projects. Big announcement, loud fanfare, and then months or years of silence and retooling. It's literally rinse and repeat for Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy, rinse and repeat. How she still has a job is mental. Compare this debacle to Lucasfilm's rollout of Star Wars Starfighter, a new film announced at Celebration 2025 starring Ryan Gosling. This project has a lead actor, defined timeline, forward motion. It's set 5 years after Rise of Skywalker, yet it features an entirely new cast and premise, a clean slate approach that appears to be exactly what the franchise needs. It was Starfighter that got the sizzle, the hype, and the press. REY, nothing. But maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they are trying to move back to male-centric properties within Star Wars. Which, to be fair, you should do. It's a male property. It has a male fan base. You need to move back to that. But it's just hilarious. Again, it just goes on and 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 on. But it's comical as hell. So I just thought I'd cover this because it's funny. There is no update. It's rinse and repeat for Kathleen Kennedy. She's a joke. She needs to get fired. But she'll go off with a golden parachute, loads and loads of money, mountains of wealth, and it'll be fine. Because that's how Hollywood works. People just keep failing up, and it's a joke. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop it down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and hit subscribe. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye now.